Brooks Caldera 8, just a cruise day today. Perfect for these. Yeah, the Caldera 8 ride, I'd say is pretty smooth. The profile underfoot is a little bit flat. I think I've been running in more rocker shoes lately, so that stands out to me. This one does have a little bit of a rocker, but it's more kind of at the toes. You can feel the flex pretty far forward. Seems like it lands kind of flat underneath the ball of the foot, through the midfoot, back to the rear. The platform under the rear is very wide. One of the widest, if not the widest, rear foot platforms. So, as I was saying, in comparison to some of those more rockered shoes I've been testing recently, the two shoes that I have in mind are the MTL Adapt Matryx and the North Face Vectiv Enduris 4, which I'm testing when I have time. Those shoes have a rocker that starts earlier, more under the ball of the foot, or just rear of the toes. The Enduris 4 relies on a bigger rocker, really rolling earlier. Has a plate in there, plastic plate, not a carbon plate. The Merrell Adapt has those flex grooves I talked about a lot in the review, so it just seems to flex earlier under the ball of the foot. The Caldera here is generally stiffer throughout most of the foot until you get into that late toe off by the toes. It does flex smoothly though. It's not like a jarring kind of uneven flex. Stack height is good. I believe we're in the range of 38 mil under the heel. Spec drops can be misleading. This one feels right. I don't feel like I'm high, like some 8 or 10s where I'm slanted forward, or it's too flat where some shoes, even at 4 or 6, feel less than that. The midsole foam is DNA Loft version 3. Just put out a video on the Catamount 4 that uses Brooks DNA Flash version 2. They're both nitrogen infused EVAs. This one tends more soft, whereas the Flash tends more responsive. I'm not sure if they vary the amount of nitrogen or the amount of air bubbles or whatever they put in there. But yeah, the Loft is gonna be softer. The Flash, faster, more responsive. The durometer of the foam feels good for this type of shoe. I was mentioning relative to Brooks' other DNA foam, the Loft is softer, but this is not a soft foam. I wouldn't call this squishy by any means at all. There's a healthy amount of it, especially when you consider the width of the shoe. That width really gives good stability, but there's no squishiness. It's not an overly soft foam. So if you're not into that, this is a good option. I'm gonna make a stop a little bit further up ahead, talk about the fit and feel a little bit more, but it's a wide shoe. There's plenty of width in it. Now I have a medium width, I would say, and a medium volume foot, but I prefer to have more width in the shoe and adjust from there rather than being squeezed. Volume can sometimes be an issue. The way this one is set up, there's enough width that I like, but I'm able to tighten the laces where it doesn't constrict my foot. I do feel secure. If you're concerned about width, I wouldn't say that's an issue unless you do have very narrow feet. Definitely have a little bit of extra material here. There's good amount of volume in this upper. If you have a wide foot or a high volume foot, this shoe is going to work great for you. I've got a medium foot, as I said. It does seem this offset lacing, the throat is kind of wide, so I'm able to pull it in nicely, whereas I don't feel I'm trying to shift my foot side to side. It's pretty solid in there. When I was running, I don't feel any shifting, and certainly this is more of a long distance shoe, nothing you would be bombing down high-speed technical terrain in any way. So I think it's actually leaning very good in terms of foothold. In terms of the platform, you can see it's wide up front. A lot of the shoes I've been testing, including the Merrell, the North Face, a lot of cruiser shoes, they're similar in width under here, under the forefoot, but then in the rear, they tend to narrow out. This one doesn't. This one, let's see if I can get there. It's super wide back here. So if that's something that you're looking for, I think that probably works better for bigger, maybe heavier runners. It really enhances stability. You're having solid width from here all the way through the rear. If stability is a factor, if you're maybe a bigger runner, this is a great option. Personally, I'm obviously a little bit lighter runner. I'd like to see this maybe pulled in a tad. I don't think it would hurt stability at all to make it more in line with some of those other shoes. I think it would make it feel a little bit quicker, a little less flatter on the ground. You can get a look at the rocker here. As I was talking about, the rocker, I feel it up here by the toes. You can see from some of those running clips, I can run pretty smooth in this shoe, even though it's 11.2 ounces, I believe. It's a heavy shoe, objectively speaking, and for me and my size, it's heavier than I would typically run in, but I'm able to turn it over pretty quickly. I would say it definitely runs lighter than its weight. So you do have that a little bit of a toe spring up here. It's rockered for sure, but it's noticeable on the run, kind of right at this point right here. That's where I feel it. Some of the other shoes I talked about, the Merrell and the Enduris 4, they start more around here. So it's really like you get more of a roll. This one probably leans more into stability than that rocker. In conjunction with having this being super wide, you're landing more flat, you're landing more stable. The upper material is this TPE mesh that is apparently hydrophobic. I haven't gotten these out into rain yet, but it's quite breathable. I like a white shoe anyway. Once summer rolls around and the hot sun is beating down on my feet. It's quite breathable. Haven't noticed any issues with breathability. Foothold is good. The tongue is plenty high enough. This is perfect, love it. The heel, I was gonna say initially that it seems like the bolstering is overly thick. I thought they might have perhaps overdone it, but actually, now that I've had a couple runs in, it feels definitely better. I'm wearing these Norda socks just because they're thick. I feel like I have a lot of volume in this shoe, which I like. I'm at a 10, and I'm about, my toe is about right here. Actually, right here. So I could probably go with a 9.5, but I wouldn't want to. I like the 10 here. I think most people should probably wear bigger shoes than they're actually wearing. So I like the 10. This thick sock, it kind of fills it in for me. So I really like how that feels too. It's a good combo. Obviously the white matches, aside from the name. The rubber there, Brooks TrailTack green, good amount of recycled content. I'll put that up on the screen. 4mm lugs, solid traction throughout, no issues at all. As you can see, had a little bit of mud, not too much. So that's a wrap here on the Brooks Caldera 8. This is a little bit of a mini / early review. I'll be doing the full review on the written website, including the comps. This is a cruiser shoe. There's a lot of shoes on the market in this range. So if there's something particular that you want to look at in terms of comparisons, I'll dig into that on the written site. Any other questions on the shoe, just let me know down in the comments. I'll try to cover those as well when I get to the written review. We have a few runners at RoadTrailRun with this shoe right now, so you'll get a good multi-tester review there.